All right, let's get it, guys. What is going on? Happy Friday to all. We are at the weekend. And at late last night, on Thursday night, the Flyers were up in Seattle to face off against our old friend Dave Haxtell, who we have been taking care of over the past couple games, including on Super Sunday. But in this one, however, it was about damn time that the Kraken got some revenge on the Philadelphia Flyers, as they absolutely put the whipping on our Fly guys in a 6-2 loss for the Flyers. This is a game where, look, we know that this team is not that talented, and what John Tortorella has done this year has been pretty spectacular, getting the most out of a lot of these players, having them believe, and they have been around a 500 hockey club for most of the season. But this is one of those games where your lack of talent it really got highlighted. All right, the speed of the Kraken, the skill of the Kraken, they're a pretty solid team, and you give Dave Haxtell credit here because, look, I still don't think that he is what we thought he would kind of be when he arrived to Philadelphia from North Dakota, right? But I think that with the talent that he has, and this is on the front office of the Kraken, they've done a good job of building together a solid young team in the midst of two off seasons. So that's pretty impressive. And they are pretty talented, 31, 18, and 6. They're in the thick of things in the Western Conference picture as far as Stanley Cup contention goes. And the Flyers, if I'm not mistaken, I know they obviously won on Sunday, but I do believe they won the earlier matchup this year against the Seattle Kraken. And I think we swept them last year. We lost once, but regardless, we've had the upper hand. And it was time for the Kraken to kind of just freaking put the shellacking. Now, here's the weird part about this game. These two met up Sunday, right, in Philadelphia, in South Philly, right before the Super Bowl. We all remember that hunky-dory. There was 2 whole days of a layover. Give it three whole days of a layover. So from Sunday was the last game. You had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. Then Thursday you get into this game. And obviously jet lag is always a factor, especially in American sports traveling, or North American sports traveling, I should say. But the crazy part about this game is that there was one team that looked refreshed. They looked like spring chickens. And on the other end, you saw some chickens with their heads cut off, okay? And that to me is where I scratch my head and I have some question marks of why that was. Why did it that the Kraken, right off the jump, noticed, man, Flyers did not come here to play. It's time to put the hurting on them. And that's kind of what happened. They took advantage of that. They went up 5-0. They put up 2 in the first, 3 in the third, and 3 in the second. And the worst part about it is, so the first period was trash, was garbage. And we've seen that before from the Flyers, a lot from the Flyers actually. But in the second period, I give it like the first 3 to 4 minutes. The Flyers actually put together a good solid period. They put some shots on goal. They got some offense together pretty much, and that was the problem in the first half. It felt like a lot what was going on in the game was happening in the Kraken end, and you give Carter Hart credit because he made some big saves. But second period, first 4 minutes look great, and then you get Justin Schultz gets a goal, and then that's it. It's over. They get 3 more from Olivier Borchstrand, and Yanni Gourde gets the 5th one, and that's all done in the span of 34 minutes. 34 minutes. This was all done. 5 goals. That's all it took, and the game was essentially over at that point. You get Carter Hart pulled, and it was heartbreaking because, look, they haven't been playing the best over the last 9 games, and I'll get the record in just a second. But big part of the reason why this team has kind of, I don't want to say slack off, but kind of fallen off a little bit over the past couple games is the fact of the matter is, offensively, they have not been getting it together. And there are some players, key players, that were big parts of why the Flyers were so hot coming off of the winter break. It's because you got some offensive production from a lot of players. But, you look at some of these last couple games. I'm sorry, we did lose on Sunday. I completely forgot about that. 3 goals on Sunday in a loss. 1 goal on Saturday in an overtime loss. 2 goals on Thursday in an overtime win. 1 goal in a loss last Monday to the Islanders. And then, obviously, you had your last best game against the Jets where you put up 4. But, you guys get the picture. And in a lot of those games, guys like Travis Konechny, Morgan Frost, Kevin Hayes really all stepping up and knocking down those shots and playing with some confidence. Now, that's been a struggle offensively, getting these forwards into the game. However, you do have a little bit of a positive in this game because in the beginning, in the seconds, like literal seconds into the third period, TK gets a deflector and he gets it back on goal. And that right there got him over the hump. We talked about it over the past couple weeks, how Travis Konechny was just one goal shy of breaking his career high, and it took like 3 weeks for him to do that. And so he was able to get his goal, and he gets his second goal at the end of that period, so he gets 26 goals on the season. Now, is this what TK needs, per se, to get back on that ride? Because, dude, 24 goals and almost halfway through the season, that's pretty impressive. And he was heading to smashing his career high, so he gets it here in this game. Now, let's hope that this is what TK needs to get his confidence up, because we have seen it. When TK is playing like the best player, and there was a long stretch where that was happening, a lot of wins were happening as well. But once TK gets into the rhythm of things, he's truly our leader. This is the reason why I argue that TK should be wearing the C. That's because of that factor. And so we hope that he can get the goal, get more goals, and help this offense get going. Matty Beiners gets the reconciled goal, the cherry on the top of the whip down on the Flyers, and it was a 6-2 loss overall here for the Kraken. There's not really much to break down. This is one of those games, you see it all the time, especially in a sport like hockey where you got so many games. It was just a big lull. The disappointing part about it is that, look, it was a couple days away. Kraken, who you just played last in Philadelphia, and so you had the same amount of time off. What happened exactly, right? And that's really what you want to know. Now, after the game, as always, Torts goes up to the podium and he starts talking to the reporters. And he's obviously a little testy. I'm sure the locker room's a little testy. I'm sure the locker room mood was not happy because these guys have been giving it their all in this entire season, and so it's really frustrating. Torts kind of, unleashes on the reporters. And I guess I can't blame Torts too much. At the end of the day, Torts' job is not to appease the reporters and Philly fans. The job of John Tortorella is to put a winning product on the ice. So when he doesn't want to answer a question, I myself can't get too mad about it because Tortorella just arrived here. And Tortorella has a track record in which he has put together really good teams besides Vancouver. We won't talk about Vancouver, but other than that, the track record does speak for itself. So I don't need him to answer those questions per se, but it was interesting in the way he kind of did handle it. The reporter just kind of wants a word of what happened, as we always do. I mean, we ask these same questions with the other sports. And Tortorella, look, he's in his first year. He's building a culture. In all hindsight, what does it do pointing out the obvious? Like, I think even anyone who doesn't really watch hockey on a night-to-night basis can watch last night's game and tell you that the Flyers played like dog shit. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. There's no defending it. There's no explaining it. They just played like dog shit. All right? There's no explanation to that. Now, what we would like is a response if they do this again. Next up, they got Vancouver. Now, Vancouver has obviously been a shit show in their own right, going through their second coach and Rick Tocchet. The way Bruce Boudreau was kind of let go was very controversial. So they're also going through their own shenanigans as well. But they are a team with some young talent. And if you go up in there playing like this, you're going to get smacked down again because I don't think they'll put up 6 goals, but they could definitely put up 4 goals. And the way your offense has been playing, it's definitely some bit of a concern there as well. But for Tortorella, this is the tough part here of the Flyer season, right? Because you're in a spot where we're not at the trade deadline. We're not in the latter part, the final push for the playoffs type of part of the season. And the Flyers right now are about a 500 club, still sitting 7th in the Metropolitan. How do you get these guys motivated? How do you get these guys up? And obviously, listen, Philadelphia's a big sports city. You hear it everywhere. No one cares about the fucking Flyers. Eagles just lost Super Bowl, and we're still going to talk about that. We're worried about what the Sixers are going to do in the playoffs. Are they going to get out of the second round again? And oh, by the way, the Phillies in the Union just came off of championship runs, and they look like they're about to make another run as well. So why should we be watching the Flyers? And the players have to be hearing that. Players have to be hearing about the Connor Bedard conversation where, look, I'm sure they can agree that Connor Bedard is a really good freaking talent, but they don't want to be hearing that. JVR's been thrown in trade rumors. Ivan Provorov's been thrown in trade rumors. They don't want to hear that either. But how do you get these guys motivated on a night-to-night basis? And that is the question here. Now, Tortorella has done a good job, besides the 10-game losing streak early in the year, and that was early in the year, and that's bound to happen with a new hockey club. But how does Tortorella keep these guys in check? And he's been doing a solid job, but we're getting deeper and deeper into the season. So this is really where it's going to be interesting. And I know, like, after a loss like this, the fan base's first inclination is to go, all right, so how much longer is Chuck going to be here? Can we now tank and go get Connor Bedard? It's time, boys. And for myself, again, my main concern going forward, no matter what happens on the ice, is making sure that the psyche of the core of this team is in check. I want these guys fighting. I want these guys growing and developing their game, and we have seen that from a lot of these players. Owen Tippett had another solid night. Not everyone played good tonight. Owen Tippett still has been a consistent performer. Now, remains to be seen what Owen Tippett will exactly be. And I'm under the impression that for Owen Tippett to see his full potential, we need to put a good team around him. But I do love me some Owen Tippett, I do think. But other than that, this core needs to continue doing what they're doing. And Torts needs to continue doing what they're doing, building up that confidence as we get going here. There was some shuffles here with the lines. Noah Cates centering the first line with Kevin Hayes and Owen Tippett. Second line, Morgan Frost centering James Van Riemsdyk and Travis Konechny. Third line, Scott Walton centering Joel Farabee and Wade Allison. And your fourth line, Patrick Brown centering Nicholas Deslauriers and Kiefer Bellows. Should Ali Licksell been called up here? He was supposed to be called up. Instead, they go with Kiefer Bellows. And you're going up against a Kraken team that has some speed and has some skill. And instead, you go with a more defensive alignment. I didn't agree with that, but hey, Kiefer out here trying to make his dues and get a job permanently, so I can't really be too mad about that. Defensive pairings: Ivan Provorov with Cam York, Travis Sanheim and Rasmus Ristolainen, and the hot commodity Nick Seeler with Tony DeAngelo. Yes, there is actually trade rumors that Nick Seeler seems to be on the want list for some teams. And listen, he's had a solid year. I think that he's a solid, maybe like your seventh defender, maybe your sixth defender on your hockey team. He gives you effort. He gives you physicality, and he's actually not a terrible skater as well. So I do understand some of the love that Kiefer Bellows has been getting here for sure. But we are nearing trade deadline, and obviously, what is going to happen with this hockey team. And does a performance like this, and honestly, this West Coast trip is important because we're going to find out whether or not the Flyers truly or not believe that this team can make a playoff run. I genuinely believe that Chuck Fletcher still thinks that this hockey team can make the playoffs, which, I don't know what Chuck Fletcher is smoking on these days, but I do feel like that can't be the priority. And I really don't feel like that has been the priority this season. I think that it's been genuinely one game, one shift at a time, and then we'll see what happens. But you can only focus on what's in front of you, and this team has truly made some strides here. It'll be a good test here, tomorrow against the Canucks. Curious to see how Torts does handle the goaltending here. You had Carter Hart in that here. Obviously, he gets pulled after 5 goals, and it's typical. You're bound to do that. But you did bring Sam Ersson in, and it's been announced Sam Ersson is the backup goaltender for the Philadelphia Flyers. And so what does John Tortorella decide to do in these next games? So you got the Canucks tomorrow, you got the Flames Monday, and then you're in Edmonton on Tuesday, and that ends the 4-game West Coast trip. You'll be back on next Friday, the 24th, in Philadelphia, with Montreal waiting for you. So we're going to find out a lot about this hockey team, and we'll see what Chuck Fletcher thinks about this team as we head into trade deadline time, man. Hopefully, it's been crazy so far. You had the Vladimir Tarasenko trade, so that started it off for sure. Let's check the chat. What's up, Raynell? How you doing? Good morning to you, sir. It's a dreary, rainy day, and it's a perfect way to kind of start it because of the way the Flyers kind of brought it in. The Flyers brought the rain over to Philadelphia from Seattle, so it's perfect. It sets up perfectly here. What's up, Luke? How you feeling, brother? Good game to you, my friend. I really do appreciate that. Listen, you got a good Kraken team. I still think you guys are a couple of years away, but I still think that it's a solid foundation they've been building. Will Hackstall be the guy there? That's the real question. What's up, Philly the podcast? What's up, brother? Don Castro. Hope you're having a great day. Oh, and it's all season time for Eagles content creators. We'll still be doing content here for the Birds. Obviously, we'll follow any breaking news. Obviously, you got free agency, the draft. We'll probably have some big roster decisions coming up. Will Fletcher Cox be back? Will Brandon Graham be back? What will Jalen make? What will CJ Gardner make? So we'll definitely be having all that for sure. Raynell's laughing out here. Raynell, do I amuse you? Am I funny to you? we will take our rain. Hey, listen, you can have the rain. I'm all about the sunshine and nice. Hey, I'm actually a warm weather guy. Like when I was in Arizona, I was thriving down there. But I can't leave Philadelphia. I'll take trips here and there. I'll take trips back to Colombia. That's the weather that I need back in Colombia, in Cali, Colombia, papa. Right now, what are you doing to me? Let's go Philadelphia Flyers. Come on now. Come on, bro. We shall see, man. We shall see. All right, so again, tomorrow night, another late one. Well, at least it's Saturday, and I have babysitting duty, so that actually does work well for me. But Canucks should be an interesting one. We'll see our old friend Rick Tocchet, Flyers Hall of Famer. So we'll see what the Flyers can do. But that's going to do it for today's edition of Flyers Game Recap. Appreciate everyone checking on in. I know it was a rough one, but it's going to be an interesting stretch. We are going to find out a lot about the Flyers. So I'll give it a month. So by March 17th, I guarantee you we'll know the direction of the final month and a half of the NHL season. So we'll see what happens. We'll go. Hey, Raynell gets it. But thank you so much, guys, for checking on in. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe for more Philly sports. We are available where you stream podcasts as well, from Apple, Google, and Spotify. We're recording it right now. We did it this time. We finally remembered. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I go by the name El Parcero Philly, and I'm telling you guys, let's go Philly sports. Talk to you guys soon.